How's it going, everybody? I'm standing here in what is now a seed warehouse. It is that time of year where we are getting seed deliveries here, and it's a good time of year. That means spring is right around the corner. So I did these Q&A videos. I got a lot of response, which is great to see. So I've already done part 1. I've already done part 2. I've already done part 3. Well, this is the fourth and final. So I'm sure there's people that are probably like, I'm so sick of seeing him sitting there rambling. It's been a fun time answering the questions, sitting there talking. At one point, I really messed up my throat from talking so much and not having anything to drink. So I had to take quite a pause in between. So at one point, I don't know if I've shaved, if you can tell different points. It's like, did Mike shave during halfway through this and then grow another? Trust me, I don't grow facial hair that quick. So yeah, that was filmed in different parts of the day, and I just kind of threw everything together. But anyway, this is the 4th and final one. I really enjoyed doing this. Like I said, it always blows my mind, the participation. I love that you guys participated and had fun with it. So anyway, here is the 4th and final answer video to the Q&As. I hope you enjoy. Andy Ebernard wanted to know, or said, I think some people want to see how your milking process from start to finish, and then you got a milking video the other day, so hopefully the people are happy. Plane Watcher 7574 said, love the videos. Do you plan on upgrading anything on the farm or any of the tractors? Upgrading, when I hear the word upgrade, I would think, let's take our pull type chopper, for instance. If we we're going to upgrade that, we would be trading in that chopper for either another pull type or a self-propelled. Doing something going forward would be an upgrade. We're not trading in any of our equipment. Of course, we didn't think we were getting a round baler last year either. This year was supposed to be getting a round baler, and we kind of jumped the gun a little bit on that. So I think just taking the next step for the round bales. We've talked about upgrading our rotary rake, so we'll see if that becomes a possibility, if we can kind of work that into the wrapper deal or something. But we'll see how it goes. Nothing imminent right now. Anthony Farm, is there more new machines this year? Do you have to do TB tests? Can you show muck spreading and opening a bale sometimes? Well, you are in luck, because I just did a hauling manure video the other day, and you were the one I mentioned because I said somebody was just asking about it. As far as new machines, like I said, probably one of the wrappers that we demoed we'll be looking at getting, because we want to wrap our bales. And I did open one bale just because I got curious. I haven't opened any bales yet, but I will video opening up a baleage bale. Wolf Island Excavating. Maybe you've done a video on this, but do you feed your wrap bales in the milking bar? And if so, how do you do that? Thanks. I have not done a video. Actually, I filmed a video on it. I just never put it together and posted it. So I will get that out there. All I did was I took it with a wheel loader. I set it up into the hay mow, and I kind of just unrolled it with a fork and threw it down the chute into a cart and fed it that way. It did okay, but I really packed those bales pretty tight, so they didn't unroll as good. So I'd have to come in with the spear, pick it up, and then really unroll it, and until I find a better way, that's kind of how I think how we're gonna do it. Is I'm just gonna come in with the wheel loader, pick it up with the spear, and either shake some loose or come with a fork and scoop it off. We still have those old poly carts we used to feed silage out of, so we can put them in there and then just feed them that way. It's gonna take a little longer, but I mean, if the cows really did enjoy it. That one bale I fed, so I fed one bale, and that did, oh, how long did that take? I'm gonna say around a week. And the cows really did enjoy it. Rick Perry, 9546. Do you know what would leave me in awe and wonder? If you put in a rotary parlor. Just kidding. No, seriously, got any projects lined up? For the future, any equipment purchases, Rick? If I put in a rotary parlor, I could probably get all the cows done, milked in like 20 minutes. As far as... 50 cow rotary parlor milking 50 cows. That'd be quite the purchase, wouldn't it? Like I talked about, just kind of getting the round bale. Now that we're kind of into the round bale, it's just kind of getting them buttoned up. Like I said, I've talked to more dealers. I've talked to more farmers about how they store their bales. amount of wraps they use on them, this and that, for baleage, how many wraps, for dry hay, a little less wraps, just to kind of keep the moisture out and keep the dry hay. But Glenn Kellner wants to know, what is the next big upgrade for the farm? And I can say 3 letters. TMR, that would be the big thing. That's what we're pushing for. That's what I've been pushing for a while, and that's what we're kind of going in that direction. Like I said, we get all the ingredients and everything lined up between the round bales, between the dry hay, the baleage. We have the corn silage and haylage already, the high moisture corn. Just kind of, I've talked to our nutritionists. We're kind of getting a game plan. I've gone to TMR demos. I saw a J. Lohr screw mixer, vertical, whatever that's called. It wasn't a twin screw, it was just a single screw mixer. It did a phenomenal job mixing up corn silage and hay. I had our nutritionist meet us there, and she kind of went over, she was watching it with us. Like I said, the farm show's coming up, so I'm sure there'll be plenty more to check out. So we're kind of now just jumping into that and seeing what's the best one for us and going from there. But that would probably be the next big upgrade. Game Farmer 188, any plans to get a 12/23 row crop planter with 15-inch beans? It would step up a lot. Yeah, it would, but I mean, it's not for the size farm. I mean, Game Farmer, I got to give you credit. You really like to think I really need to step up. And last year, you want to know if I was going to get a Draper head for the combine. We're just not the size farm that you're talking about. I mean, a planter of that magnitude, you're talking, I could probably get a used one for $100,000. My buddy just bought a new 16-row corn planter, 30-inch spacing. I forgot what his price tag. I said $150, and he said keep going. So they're expensive. JD Driver 9565. I am from Germany. I would love to buy my own small grain farm in upstate New York. What would be your advice? Is it a good, bad idea? Thank you. I love New York. I really do. And that's just not the slogan. I actually do. I think New York is a beautiful state. There's so many different parts to it. I mean, I've been criticized for calling my area upstate when they're like, well, it's not really upstate. Well, I Wikipedia'd it, and I looked, or I searched it on Google, and it's basically anything that's not New York City, that's up from New York City, is upstate. So basically the whole rest of the state could be considered upstate. I've heard people talk about Buffalo as upstate. I consider that Western New York. But where I am, I'm a little south of Cortland. Around here, to be a grain farmer, you could do it, but you'd want to go a little bit north, kind of up where like Andy Dennison and Andy Horrigan are up there, if you're familiar with New York State, off that Route 20 line. Route 20 kind of runs to all of New York. I think that basically goes from Albany to Buffalo. You start getting up in there, and the farms get a little bigger. The fields are a little bit more wide open, a little bit more bigger. If you want to go Western New York, like where Tom and Diane are, the way we farm, the fields open up a little more, and there's a lot of beautiful, good land out there. So, do I think it's a bad idea? I don't think it's a bad idea at all. Like I said, I think New York's a high tax state. So, you could move to another state and, not pay as much in taxes, but the cost of living here in New York is higher than, like I said, than other states. But I think it's a beautiful state. I think we got, with the Finger Lakes and everything, it just makes every single season special. The winters suck unless you like snow and snowmobiling. Then the winters are good, but other than that, the winters suck. But other than that, this winter's been pretty mild actually. But I've been very fortunate with that. And only you know the answer to that, because if you're serious on it, what you would have to do is you'd have to start looking for land and looking for farms to buy. What you have as far as financial, what you can put, what you're going to sell to make the move. That's something that you need to look into a little deeper. Do I think it's a good idea? If it's financially possible for you and you got your ducks in a row and you think you can do it and make a profit, then I say go for it. New York is great. Gary Bridger 6707. The usual question: baseball. Did the Mets get enough pitching this winter? Gary knows I'm a big Mets fan. Let me take a sip of iced tea to really, make sure my throat can hold up to this one. So, the Mets' big offseason move was Billy Epler, their general manager, is gone. They brought in David Stearns, who they have wanted for a long time to be their president of baseball operations. David Stearns grew up in New York City as a Mets fan, interned for the Mets. Omar Minaya, who was the general manager at the time, wanted the ownership to find a position for him. They couldn't find a position for him. He moved on to other teams, built up quite a reputation, became quite a good general manager for the Milwaukee Brewers, and then moved up to their president of baseball operations. His contract was up. He came back home to his and props to him. That's a cool thing to come home to your team you always rooted for. But he's getting a lot of flack this year. As Mets fans, I think we were a little spoiled with the new ownership, who is the richest owner in baseball and would just spend. I'm not down on him because I don't think this year was the year to spend. I know they missed out on Yamamoto, was the hot pitcher from Japan, I agree with the Mets. That was the one person, only being 26 years old and having the arsenal of pitches he has, that would have been the one person that I would have invested the money in. But as far as that goes, this season, I don't think they're punting on the season. I think you have to see what you got. You had a lot of prospects that came up. There's a lot of question. Francisco Alvarez, that catcher, had a phenomenal rookie year. Can he repeat that in year two going forward? Brett Beatty took a huge step back once he got up there, and he struggled. Can he rebound? There's going to be struggles. You're going to have ruts you get into. Can you work yourself out of that and show that you're a Major League Baseball player? Mark Vientos has always been the bat without a position, and so I know there's bigger names for a DH, but can he grab that DH position? You got to see what you got to have, because next year's free agent class looks really good, and I know the Mets are going to have some money coming off the books, and they're going to be looking to spend again. So to get back to your question, I did a roundabout answer on that pitching. Do they have enough pitching? They built up quite a stock of pitching. I like the moves. Like I said, I wish we got Yamamoto. We did not. It is what it is. He wanted to be a Dodger. The Dodgers matched what the Mets offered. The Mets made the highest offer, and he decided to. The Dodgers matched it. He went back to the Dodgers, said, "Here's the Mets offer." They matched it. He's a Dodger. It is what it is. You can't force the person to come sign with your team, but. Like I said, next year there's a very good class of pitchers. So I'm glad they have Kodai Senga. He's a phenomenal. They signed Fujinami, which I'm really excited to see if he can get turned around, because he's got the potential. He's got the stuff. He can throw, and he can throw triple digits. If they can get him working right, that's going to be great. Edwin Diaz coming back off an injury, he didn't pitch at all last year, so getting him back and making sure he's right is good. I like that they invested in high upside, low risk, high upside guys like Sean Manaea, like Luis Severino. Luis Severino, I got a cameo for. At the time, my niece's boyfriend, and anytime I get a cameo, I have him say Mike P 7810. So you can't hear some things you can't understand, but what he said perfectly that you can understand is Mike P 7810.
Favorite YouTuber, Mike P 7810. Congratulations, buddy.
So Luis Severino, right here, man. I appreciate it. So, I've always been a David Peterson fan, and sadly he's going to be on the shelf for a little bit. And, it's interesting to see what they're going to do with Tyler McGill. But they got a lot of young, under the radar pitchers that have been coming up through AA and ended in AAA. Like your Christian Scott, like your Tyler Stewart, your Mike Vassell, your Dominic Hamel. There's a lot of guys, and mainly I think it's going to be Christian Scott and Mike Vassell are going to be the main two, but there's going to be some guys. This is a prove it year. This is going to be, let's see what we got, and then we'll go into next year. This is still a good team. You still have Pete Alonso. You still have who's one of the premier home run hitters in the league. You got Francisco Lindor, who's one of the top shortstops. He's a top 5 shortstop in the league. You've got a very good outfield. You've got some decent pitchers. You got one of the best closers in baseball. So you have pieces. It's time to just see what you got and go from there. You have a whole new administration, new coaching staff. I like that they kept Eric Chavez. I like the coaching staff they put in. Like I said, Chavez staying with the team, but going back to hitting coach. I like that they brought back Gibbons to be the bench coach. And you know what? I know that Craig Counsell was the hot free agent name as far as managers go. I don't think he wanted to come to New York. Some people just don't want the bright lights of New York City. So, Mendoza seems like, I know he was a former Yankee, but he knows New York and he's been with the Yankees a long time. So I'm not upset about that manager. I've just kind of been impartial by it. I just kind of trust in the process. There's a reason why those guys get paid the big money to make baseball decisions and why I make YouTube videos. So, there's a reason for that. I remember me and my cousin go back and forth. We talk about the Mets all the time. And when the Mets were, a couple of years ago, we were watching the MLB draft. The Mets had picks number 11 and 14. And they got Kevin Parada with the 11th pick, who was one of the top hitters in the draft. And I loved that pick. And I said I did not want them to draft Jet Williams because he reminded me of another Mets prospect that kind of fizzled out and didn't do well. And the Mets drafted Jet Williams, and I was kind of down on that. Well, Jet Williams is one of the Mets' he's Jet the Met. He's got a great name for it, and he's one of the top prospects in the Mets organization. So once again, this is why I make YouTube videos, and I'm not in there making the decisions. So I'll stick to being a fan. Anyway, like I said, I'm not too far from Binghamton, so I get to see the AA Mets, the Rumble Ponies, and I'm not too far from Syracuse, so I can go see the AAA Mets. So that's always a wonderful thing. But Gary, thank you for my Mets question. I hope I didn't ramble too much. So that was it. That was the fourth and final Q&A video. It's on back to the other things that were going on around the farm. I just want to take a second and thank everybody for participating. It was really fun to sit there and make the videos. I really liked the interaction and everything, and I think that's kind of what makes my channel special. But anyway, time to get back to doing some other things. Yeah, a lot of videos on tap, so stay tuned. Like I said, we got seed here, so we're gonna be in the fields before you know it. So we got a lot of maintenance to bring in the equipment and start doing the maintenance and get it all ready to go for get it out in the field. So anyway, thumbs up if you like this video. Drop me a question or comment below. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you have, thumbs up to you. I totally appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one, everybody.